HOA Karen trashed the community pool, fined $100K and permanently banned. The sun was barely up when Karen's voice shattered the morning calm, echoing across the Willow Creek community pool like a siren nobody asked for. "This place is a disgrace," she bellowed, her phone already out, live streaming her outrage to her 200 followers. By noon, the neighborhood would regret ever letting her near the gate. Karen, a self-proclaimed community watchdog, had moved into Willow Creek 6 months ago, armed with a superiority complex and a knack for finding fault in everything. The pool, a cherished oasis where kids splashed and retirees gossiped, was her latest target. It wasn't perfect, the tiles needed scrubbing, and the snack bar's menu was uninspired. She'd posted online, but it was a haven. Families saved for years to live here, drawn by the promise of lazy summer days and chlorine-scented memories. Karen, though, saw only flaws. "This pool is a health hazard," she'd ranted in her latest video, zooming in on a single leaf floating in the deep end. "I'm fixing this, whether you like it or not." Her fixing began innocently enough. She demanded a meeting with the HOA board, storming in with a 10-page manifesto on pool improvements, more lounge chairs, imported water features, a vegan-only snack bar. She wanted it all, and she wanted it now. The board, led by Maria, a no-nonsense single mom who'd lived in Willow Creek for a decade, politely declined. The budget was tight, and Karen's ideas were absurdly extravagant. "We're a community, not a resort," Maria said, her voice calm but firm. Karen's face reddened, and she stormed out, muttering about incompetence and taking matters into her own hands. The next morning, the trouble started. Karen showed up at the pool with a megaphone. Yes, a megaphone announcing her pool enhancement project. She'd hired a sketchy contractor from a Craigslist ad, a guy named Vinny who smelled like cheap cologne and carried a toolbox that looked older than the pool itself. "We're upgrading this dump," Karen declared, waving a crowbar like a scepter. The lifeguard, 19-year-old Jake, tried to intervene. "Ma'am, you can't just," he started, but Karen cut him off. "Don't ma'am me, kid. I'm saving this place." Vinny, following Karen's orders, began renovating. He ripped out perfectly good tiles, claiming they were mold-infested, and dumped them in a pile by the kiddie pool. He hacked at the filtration system, insisting it needed modernization, only to break a pipe, sending water gushing across the deck. Karen cheered him on, filming the chaos for her followers. "See progress," she shouted as kids slipped on the wet concrete and parents scrambled to pull them away. By noon, the pool was a war zone: broken chairs, shattered tiles, and a filter system spewing murky water. The snack bar's fridge was unplugged, Karen's idea to test its efficiency, ruining hundreds of dollars in food. Word spread fast. Maria, who'd been at work, rushed to the pool after a frantic call from Jake. She arrived to find Karen perched on a lounge chair, directing Vinny like a dictator. "Karen, what the hell is this?" Maria demanded, her voice shaking with rage. Karen didn't flinch. "I'm doing what you couldn't, making this place world-class." Jake, soaked from trying to fix the pipe, muttered, "She's destroying it." Parents gathered, phones out, recording the showdown. Karen smirked, thriving on the attention. "You'll thank me later," she said. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. Mrs. Delaney, an 80-year-old retiree who rarely left her porch, hobbled over with her cane, her eyes blazing. She'd lived in Willow Creek since it was built and had funded half the pool's construction decades ago. "Karen, you're a menace," she said, her voice cutting through the crowd. "This pool isn't yours to ruin." She revealed something shocking. She'd been quietly documenting Karen's antics since she moved in, compiling complaints from neighbors about her late-night parties, her illegal parking, and now this. Mrs. Delaney had sent a dossier to the HOA's lawyer that morning, complete with video evidence from the pool's security cameras. The crowd gasped. Karen's smirk faltered. "You can't prove anything," she snapped, but her voice wavered. Maria, seizing the moment, called an emergency HOA meeting right there by the wrecked pool. Neighbors poured in, their frustration boiling over. One mom, Sarah, tearfully described how her son's birthday party was canceled because of the mess. Another neighbor, Mr. Patel, pointed out the thousands in damages Karen had caused. Jake, barely holding it together, admitted he'd lost a week's pay because the pool had to close. The community's anger was palpable, a tidal wave Karen couldn't outshout. The confrontation exploded at dusk. Maria, backed by Mrs. Delaney's evidence and the neighbors' testimonies, presented Karen with a formal citation from the HOA. The damages were catastrophic: $75,000 for the filtration system, $20,000 for the tiles, and $5,000 for the ruined snack bar inventory. Karen's face went pale as Maria read the total $100,000 fine, plus a permanent ban from all community facilities. "You've disrespected our home," Maria said, her voice steady but laced with fury. "You're done here." Karen tried to fight back, screaming about lawsuits and discrimination, but the crowd drowned her out. Vinny, sensing the tide turning, grabbed his toolbox and fled. Jake, emboldened, stepped forward. "You didn't just break the pool," he said, his voice cracking. "You broke our trust." The neighbors cheered, their unity a stark contrast to Karen's isolation. Mrs. Delaney, leaning on her cane, added, "You thought you could bully us. You were wrong." The fallout was swift and brutal. The HOA's lawyer, armed with Mrs. Delaney's dossier and the security footage, filed the fine with the county. Karen, unable to pay, faced a lien on her house, her social media accounts. Once her platform for complaints were flooded with screenshots of her destruction, shared by neighbors far and wide. She tried to sell her story to a local news outlet, but they ran a piece titled "HOA Hero Maria Saves Community from Karen's Chaos" instead. Karen's name became a neighborhood curse, whispered by kids and scoffed at by adults. By the next month, the pool was repaired, funded by a community crowdfunding campaign that raised twice what was needed. Maria organized a reopening party, where Jake was honored as Lifeguard of the Year and Mrs. Delaney cut the ribbon. Karen's house went up for sale, but no one bid. Her reputation had tanked its value. Rumors swirled that she'd moved to a condo downtown, banned from every HOA in the county. As the sun set on the reopened pool, Maria addressed the crowd. "This place is ours again," she said, her voice warm with pride. "But I want to hear from you. What do you think was justice served, or should we have done more?" The neighbors clapped, some shouting their approval, others debating in hushed tones. The pool sparkled under the twilight, a symbol of resilience, reclaimed from the wreckage of one woman's ego. What do you think? Did Karen get what she deserved, or should the community have handled it differently? Share your thoughts.